Good morning. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman on 101 WRIF, everything that rocks. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Busy show today. Lots going on, but just to give you a little intro, my name's Adam Helfman. This is Hire It Done. We educate homeowners. We raise contractor professionalism, and we facilitate a hassle-free home improvement process here on Hire It Done. And that's the show we do. We are the home improvement radio show that teaches you, the homeowner, how to fix, repair, or remodel everything within the four corners of your lot. Here's the best part about it. Hire It Done is not a do-it-yourself show. However, I'm not anti-do-it-yourself. I am pro do it for me. And what I want to do is teach you the questions to ask every contractor when it's time to hire a good guy, when it's time to get it done, when you don't want to do it yourself, right? Sometimes doing it yourself is therapeutic. I'm okay with that. But most of the time, it's something that you have to get done. And how are you going to do it? Who are you going to hire? And what's the risk, right? That's the whole point of hiring it done. You want to reduce your risk by finding the right contractors. So Hire It Done exists because we not only give you content on hiring good contractors, questions to ask, questions they don't want you to ask, what's popular and how to get it done the right way, but we also provide you with contractors that help you hire it done. So it's pretty simple. And yeah, of course, I'm still going to give you some DIY advice, right? I'm okay with that advice. I'm okay saying, here's how you caulk your toilet. Here's how you stop your washing machine from doing the tango across the floor. However, I can also give you the questions to ask the caulking guy, the plumber, the appliance guy for those type of things. But planning your project is not easy. It's always taking time. And as of course, I always say to people, time is a new currency. And so the most important tool in your toolbox today, my friends, is time. It used to be your checkbook, and the great Glenn Hagee, may he rest in peace. He came up with that. And I got to give you credit. That's like literally, genius. It's PhD level. Now, me, on the other hand, also will tell you, it's true. Time is the new currency. And so, do you have time to play with your kids? Do you have time to hire a roofer? Do you have time to do both? Well, if you're smart, and you actually have a little bit of organizational skills, do it. But if you don't, use Hire It Done. That's why we exist. I'm here to help you, the homeowner, find the best contractor. And so with today, we have lots planned on the show, obviously. We always have a guest every week. And this week, we have Eric Urbane, and he's from Miss Dig 811. He's been on the show many times. Good sponsor of the show and friend for many years. So I want to bring him on and welcome to the show. We're going to talk everything Miss Dig and why it's so important this time of year, especially every year. But what's the technology impacting Miss Dig right now with artificial intelligence or AI? We're going to talk all about that. We've got Eric in studio right now. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Adam. Good to see you.
Welcome to the show again, my friend.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
What do you think of the new studio?
Love it. This is a great setup. Just seeing what you've been able to do, following you on social media.
Like when we started in the other studio.
Yep.
First one, radio.
Yes.
So we did 20 years on radio.
Yep.
I started a podcast, and then WRIF contacted me and said, look, we didn't know that you went straight podcast. I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. They're like, would you be interested in possibly working with us? I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
It's the riff. So luckily I was able to put a deal together with them, but we do simulcast. So we're live on Riff right now. Everyone in your car, thanks for tuning in, 101 WRIF. And by the way, if you have a question in studio, text us 248-927-1985. That's the request line. Obviously, we want to answer your questions, and it's also, by the way, shout out Saturday.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. So we want you to know, if you're a contractor, text us. We'll give you a shout out, 248-927-1985. We're always looking for good contractors on Hire It Done. And speaking of good contractors, Eric Urbane from Ms. Dig is here. Eric, there's a definite difference when you have a contractor who's really good at what they do and when the way they handle Ms. Dig, as opposed to the newbies, the ones who don't realize that they should be calling on every job they don't.
Right.
Let's start. Let's crawl before we walk. Give everyone in the audience the Ms. Dig Twitter, elevator pitch.
Sure.
What do you guys do?
Elevator pitch. We are the call before you dig place. So Miss Dig is established. We're a nonprofit organization. We are your single point of contact for excavators looking to obtain the location of buried utilities, right? So before any digging project, there's a state law in the books that says before I put a shovel in the ground, I have to contact Miss Dig 811, which is us. We're a free service.
Yep.
Phone number simple, 811, or you can do it online at our website. And then we send that information to all the utility providers in the area, right? Your power company, gas company, water department, so on and so forth. So they can actually go out and mark the location of their buried lines before you begin excavation, right? It's a integrity of the utility system and a safety thing.
So let me just apply what you just said to real world applications. You're a homeowner. You want to redo your deck. You want to build an addition. You want to take your brick pavers out and dig out the old concrete, or you want to take the brick pavers out and put a concrete patio in. Any kind of excavation, any kind of exterior work. There's phone, cable, gas, electric, all kinds of utilities that are buried. Yes, above you, you see the power lines sometimes. Sometimes you see everything, but they do come down off the pole and then underground into your house. When you're digging and you cut that Wi-Fi line, it's more impactful than you think. In fact, I happen to be a victim of my cable was out.
Yeah.
And do you remember how, and by the way, I'm Comcast. I'll say it. Comcast / Xfinity, whatever their name is today. They've been around forever, and I've been a customer forever. Initially, you'd be like, oh no, cable's out. And then you'd call the cable guy and we'll be here we'll be here between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Yep.
Sit home all day. No one shows up. You get a notification. Oh, we were there. You're like, no, you weren't. That was years ago. Now, all of a sudden, they've actually buttoned it up. I got to give high fives, 5-star to Comcast, Xfinity. They have literally spun that baby around and they have gone to the best customer service. The guy ahead of time, they call you 30 times that day. We're going to be here between 12 and 2. On their way between 12 and 2. They're like, we're on our way. The guy literally shows up at the door, knocks on the door. He's got his booties, his hands. He's all, hey, super friendly. He's like, do you mind if I go outside and check around? I'm like, yeah, here's the deal. I already knew what was wrong. Someone cut the cable from the house to my house. He came back 20 minutes later, knocked on the door. Yes, sir. You know what? I checked the line at the house. There was no signal. Went to the pole. There's full signal. Somehow something got damaged. He goes, I'm running a brand new line for you right now. He goes, I'll be 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But when I'm done, let's test everything.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, he came back, tested, kind of bing, bada boom. Beautiful.
Great.
Full download, upload. And, I was super satisfied. Now, what happened? I asked the guy, what do you think happened? He goes, well, it looks like there's flags in the pole area. Someone is going to be doing, and I'm like, oh, that's right. The pole in the back of my house, in the back corner, the other side of the corner of that lot, they're tearing a house down and they're doing demo. And I remember because I was on the city council, I had to, see what they were doing, put a pickleball court backing up to my house.
Oh,
I said yes. I voted yes, but I wanted to make sure they were going to mitigate the noise.
Yes.
Another issue, another story, another day. But what I'm saying is they had already flagged the area. They were already demoing trees. So somehow, somewhere, something got pulled, even though the flags were there, and it impacted me.
Yes.
So I was out of cable for a day and a half. But I'm very satisfied with the service of Xfinity. So I got to give them a high five. But it ties into Miss Dig. If you're doing a deck, outside work anywhere, you have to call Miss Dig.
Yes.
Do you recommend calling on your phone 811 or do you call, what would be the easiest way? Go online, Miss Dig?
Sure. So for the professional excavator out there,
yeah.
Really the best way to do it would be online, right? About 90% of all the tickets we take are actually online.
So, okay, 9 out of 10, that's good.
Right. But for the homeowner, that do-it-yourselfer, it probably is easier to simply dial 811 and we can kind of walk you through the process.
Is someone live answer or is it automated or what is it?
You'll talk to one of our live notification system representatives. We are open 24 hours a day. So we'll always have someone there to take that call.
And you just take your cell phone, dial 811
Yep.
And then hit send.
Yep. Patches
Not
you right
911, folks. 811. Let's make sure.
Yeah, you called 811 first, so you don't have to call 911 later.
Okay. I'll take that any day of the week. Okay. And so the point here is, friends, if you're hiring a contractor, literally it's the contractor who should be calling. Okay. Now, when you ask the contractor, hey, are you calling 811? Are you calling Ms. Dig? And he looks at you funny, that's a red flag.
Absolutely a red flag.
You know, a lot of times they'll be like, oh yeah, our excavator takes care of that. We won't show up unless the flags are there, Mrs. Homeowner. That's what you want to hear, confidence.
Mhm.
The guy goes, well, we don't need to call them. They'll slow the project down. We don't want to alert anyone to what we're doing. I mean, you've heard that before.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, if they're not willing to take on their own responsibility, right, and if they don't want to do it or are trying to push that on the customer, the homeowner,
Yep.
that's a concern, because what happens later, if something does happen, they're already trying to push liability and responsibility to the customer. You know, what may happen down the road.
Makes sense. Now, what are some of the, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We want to come back. I want to ask about what are the risks and what are some of the dangers that we have with 811 with contractors or homeowners not calling. We got Eric Urbane from MissDig811.org in studio. My name's Adam Helfman. You're listening to Hire It Done on 101 WRIF, everything that rocks. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name is Adam Helfman. We've got Eric Urbane from Ms. Dig 811 in studio. We were talking about why Ms. Dig is important for all of your outdoor construction work. And Eric, at the break, we were talking about things that have happened this year and in the past when people who didn't call Ms. Dig, but even if you do call Ms. Dig, it's still, you got to be careful. You've got to be very aware of your situation and your surroundings when you're digging underground and there's a gas line or an electrical line. People's lives are at risk. But you told me a specific statistic at the break. Let's talk about that real quick. You had a percentage of accidents were from hand tools?
Yeah.
So say that. Let's talk about that.
So the state of Michigan collects reports on, every time a buried utility line is damaged. And we were able to pull some reports for, this year in 2025, and they're kind of interesting. But one thing that stood out is, especially on the do-it-yourself or the smaller type of projects where it's just a shovel, maybe it's just some landscaping, or it's planting a bush or something where people don't think it's that serious. Of all the damages reported across the state so far this year, a quarter of them have been caused by just hand tools.
So 25% of all the problems where someone says, I'll just hand dig down a little bit. And literally the hand digging is what caused the problem.
Absolutely. And
wow.
You referenced the damage to your Comcast line before the break. And that's an example of what can happen, right? Those cable lines aren't going to hold up to a spade shovel, right, in the ground.
Yep.
Most gas services are plastic, right? So even if it's just a shallow project, and I'm using as a shovel between telecommunications cable lines, plastic gas mains, you're gonna wind up damaging them. Not everything is 6 feet deep. Yep. Not everything is made of a big steel pipe that's indestructible, right? So regardless of the type of project, that kind of points to why it's so important to know where those lines are before you start digging.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So for everyone out there, the importance of calling Ms. Dig is to save lives, really, and not like damage the neighborhood. You break a gas line, a water main line, even, cable line. Some people get crazy and, they freak out. Oh my God, you broke my cable line, I'm out. And you don't realize it. You get reminded, I guess, like when your power goes out, you expect, it'll be off, a day, maybe 2 days. And DTE, another company, or consumers, they do a lot of work trying to keep the grid up.
Yes.
And you're, obviously involved in that, but people don't realize how dependent they are. Let's just use Wi-Fi. I was off for a day and a half, and everything was on track to get fixed, and it got fixed, and I'm happy. But thinking about it, going home, turning my TV on, smart TV, and it's spinning.
Oh, yeah.
It says, no internet. Then I'm like, all right, I'll take my iPad. I'll go a Wi-Fi hotspot. It's not fast enough to my TV to connect to it and this and that. I'm like buffering. I'm like, oy. So I'm like, all right, I'll read a book.
Sure.
That lasted 3 seconds.
Yep.
So it's just, how it goes. And we're talking with Eric Urbane, Miss Dig 811. How many calls or requests or we call them tickets, right?
Tickets.
What are we on track for 2025?
Well, what's interesting is, in previous conversations, Adam, we're saying we're always breaking records, right?
Yeah.
Well, both September and October of this year, October that just ended,
Yep.
we took over 150,000 inbound tickets
In the month.
both months. That had never been done ever in our 55-year history until September.
300,000 in 2 months time. How many employees do you have?
70.
So 70 people had to take, that's 500 a day or something.
Yep. And it kind of speaks to how important it is, that online system we mentioned. Most of our tickets are created by the excavator because, to take that type of volume, we would be a much larger organization. But
it's crazy.
But yeah, it's we've already taken through the end of October 1.27 million tickets. So it
used to be like if you hit 1 million, it was like crazy.
That never happened until 2019, and here we are.
7 years.
There's a path towards 1.5 million before the end of the year.
So my question to you is, you guys do planning meetings. I've been involved with it. I've talked to you for X amount of years now, and it's stellar growth. Technology is coming and catching up. I'm intrigued and interested and love I'm nerdy, so I like the AI stuff. To me, AI is a perfect match for Miss Dig. However, Miss Dig is a quasi-public-private situation, so you're going to suffer from the public dragging your feet. I want to say negativity, but public is a little bit slower to adapt stuff, and more decision makers. More people have to say yes than not say yes, because there's public money. We can't just give money without knowing. If you're going to do AI, we need to see 25 AI companies and who's going to benefit us the most. And then our committee of 700 people are going to say, let's vote with this one. Then they vote, but then they can't go ahead with the AI because they need the funding, and the funding's got to get approved. And this whole rigmarole. And next thing you know, you're ready, pull the trigger, and the AI company that you dealt with, like, oh no, that was 6 months ago. AI's changed.
Oh yeah.
And now every day, every breath you blink, boom, AI's evolved. So what in today's terms, we're at near the end of 2025. Miss Dig is predictably going to scale up, and AI is going to impact you, and you're getting busier and busier every year. It seems like that's the foregone conclusion. How is Miss Dig rolling up their sleeves and planning for the extra work, knowing that you're 300,000 requests? If you just filter that down to how many guys have to spray paint and how many flags and how many, I want to be the guy who supplies you with the red flags.
Sure. Yeah.
Where do I get those? Where do I get that contract?
It's a good time to be in locating supply business. But it's a challenge as the work continues to increase and increase. It does put more demand on the men and women that are out there performing those locations.
Huge amount.
There's only so much that each person can do on a given day. But for, on our end, the way we're kind of looking at least towards technology, Adam, is AI with us, how we see it in the short term is a little bit different. It won't be making deep fake videos or anything like that we see out there now, but really trying to help us with our quality process, right? I mentioned, a vast majority of our tickets are created by the excavators.
Correct.
So in order to make sure what we're sending out is of the same quality that we would hold our internal teams to, like on the phone, we have to do some quality control checking, right?
There's algorithms for all that.
And we don't have possibly have enough people to check 1.2 million tickets by hand.
Correct.
So really what we see in the short term is incorporating some, AI solutions on the front end that can help identify,
filtering out all these requests.
Yep.
Anything that's odd goes to the right. Everything normal and standard operating procedures goes to the left. And then it filters in that bucket on the left. And then the left side bucket gets, all right, this guy who's been putting tickets in for X amount of years is 99% always right.
Yep.
His goes down the path. The one that's like, oh, this one's never done that many. This one gets in the filter.
Yep.
And so I guess the AI can start working on being efficient with the AI.
Yeah. And it'll help us
use
with
AI
our
to get AI.
Yep, that's right. And it'll help, obviously, then that trains future AI, right? As we continue to move
large
forward.
Language model, like learning.
But it'll allow us, in the onset to have more confidence that what we are sending to each locator is all the information is solid. It's correct. We have verified it. The location matches with the map. So they could trust that when they are sent to that particular job site, they know exactly what they're getting into. That will probably be our first, as an organization, step into the AI realm.
And you've been talking about it for over a year or more.
Yep.
How close are you to deploying any AI right now?
I would say we would certainly have something in place, by the end of 2026.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's fair. Makes sense.
And, people may ask, well, what's the delay? AI's everywhere. Well, what, we have to account for is we have touch points with almost 1,500 different agencies across the state, our members, those utilities, the municipalities.
Right.
And each one has their own, and rightfully so, either concerns or firewalls or, security type of issues.
It's hard to hand off and touch base and communicate.
Right.
Everyone has their own little version of way of doing it.
Yeah. So we have to be very thoughtful on how the technology we utilize, how that impacts, our membership across the state.
Okay. And now I get it a little bit better. We're talking with Eric Urbane from Miss Dig 811. Obviously, you can call Miss Dig from your phone, 811, hit send. You can go online, 811 or missdig811.org. What would be the online?
Missdig811.org.
So MISSDIG811.org.
Yep.
Is there an app?
Well, we're happy to announce, after years and years of hearing from our audience, we do have a mobile app. So that was just released, I want to say, a couple of weeks ago. And for those contractors that work with Adam that are out there listening, it's really tailored for you. So if you were to go to your app store, whether it be on the Google Play or app, and search Miss Dig 811, we have a mobile app. We're very happy with it. It will provide you all kinds of information. If you want to know what the flags mean, it's there. Do you want to know what the Miss Dig law is? It's there. Industry best practices, training videos, your local damage prevention liaison contact. It's all there, and you can access positive response for the tickets that you have right from the app. So for excavators,
fantastic.
It's a real new enhancement.
Is it going to be required to have the app? And did you have to register once you get the app?
No. No, there's no requirement, and anyone can do it. I mean, a homeowner, DIYers could certainly download the app too. But if you only call us once a year, it may not have the same value as a professional excavator that deals with this every day. But
there's the app. So if you're a contractor out there, download the app. If you use them probably more than a handful of times a year, it would probably make sense. It makes it easier.
Yeah.
It adds credibility. You can tell the homeowner, yeah, Mrs. Jones, I have the app on my phone. We do, it's standard operating procedure. In fact, if you're a homeowner and you have a landscaper, you have a contractor, whoever, you say to them, hey, do you ever call Miss Dig? Because I like my contractors, I'll use Brian Lee, Metro Home Pro, nice guy, room additions, kitchens, baths, major design build. If you ask him about Miss Dig, he'll look at you like, what do you mean? Of course, Miss Dig. It's like an automatic. It's like a 2x4.
Yep.
It's part of the language.
Yes.
But then there's guys, and I ask all my contractors, do you call Miss Dig? Well, only if we have to. It's the back of the house. Ain't nothing back there. You hear that, and I'm like, we have a problem, Houston. So any contractor out there, you have to call Miss Dig. If you're a homeowner and the contractor says to you, oh, no, don't do it, I'm going to tell you right now, I would highly look at hiring someone else or considering other opportunities or options, because the disaster that could happen is too much. Here's the deal, homeowners. You hire a contractor. Let's say he's cheapest bid. He's not licensed. He's not insured. He's putting in brick pavers. You saw him at the neighbor's house, and you went over there, and the guy running the job says, oh, I have my crew on the weekends. We'll do it for half price. You're a homeowner, you lick your chops, you rub your hands together, and you're like, oh, that's why I'm saving money. And next thing you know, he says, all right, you supply the material. You end up buying brick pavers. You end up buying slag. You end up buying pea stone, 21 AA. And he's like, okay, we're going to dig this out. And you show him, you walk it, you give him half down. He actually shows up. They start digging. You're like, wait a minute. What about Miss Dig? Oh, no, we don't need that. We don't need, it's the back.
Right.
Look, when they did the neighbor's house, there wasn't anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't take that risk.
No.
Then the guy hand digs or whatever happens and he breaks a gas line. Kaboom. Let's just say there's a disaster. God forbid we don't know anyone injured, but let's just say there is. He has no insurance. Okay. Not only are you, the homeowner, going to be getting a call from 1-800, call whoever.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
855 Mike wins, one of them. Good company, by the way. But my point is your homeowner's insurance. You have liability on your house, hoping you do. And then your homeowner's insurance is going to come in and say, well, you hired a non-licensed contractor. Not only are we going to have to make a claim, but we're going to have to defend you when you get sued, even though it was their fault. And then we're going to have to rebuild your house, or we're going to have to fix what's there. Not good, friends. Not acceptable. Not anything worth taking a risk over. All you had to do was dial 811. Now, let's say they put the flags there.
Sure.
And then your guy does dig and still blows the house up. Well, it absolves you as a homeowner from the liability because you called 811. And they know that you as a homeowner did what you're supposed to do. And so it takes away one of the triple D things that insurance companies do.
Yeah.
Insurance companies are I used to say double D, now I call it the triple D. Deny, delay, and deny again.
Sure.
Those are the three things. And, I'm not against insurance companies, by the way, but it seems to me that it's a cat and mouse. There are contractors who are scrupulous, who will try and create a claim, which is illegal. We don't stand for that. That's horrible. And then there's those who come out and say, oh, no, you're not covered. And the agent or the adjuster from the insurance company is pretty much trained to figure out how not to cover the job. Instead of figuring out, okay, let's see what it is. You've paid insurance. You're covered. Let's see what caused this. And that's a situation where homeowners, they don't know any better.
Sure.
You're the homeowner. You're doing what you're supposed to do. The mortgage company says you have homeowners insurance. You got homeowners insurance, right? So now you got yourself covered. You listen to Hire Done. You say, oh, I'm hiring a licensed and insured contractor. Hopefully you listened and you did. If he was licensed and insured and there was a problem, then his insurance would be the first line of defense because he's the one who did it. So again, it doesn't cost you anything to follow the rules. That's important for you to know that. And that's what we do here at Hire Done. We want to make sure that you get the right people. That's why Miss Dig is so important. I've got a job in Kego Harbor.
Yep.
Okay. 3-car garage. It's a 2-car garage we're tearing out, and we're putting in a 3-car garage that's really not even to park cars. It's storage for, believe it or not, costumes.
Oh.
And props for a party planning company, a modeling agency that literally is probably one of the most professional companies I've ever seen.
Cool.
And I was tasked to help facilitate this project, and we applied for a permit to take the existing 2-car garage down and create a 3-car garage. And by the way, it's in the same footprint. So we're not asking for variances. We weren't asking for anything, but the city is inept and as incompetent as they are. And it's very, very disturbing to me that local cities today would be that incompetent and counterproductive. I personally went in front of the city council. I personally went 3-4 different times. I have probably 100 hours of my own time, and I'm not even getting paid, but I'm helping facilitate because I know the owner.
Yeah,
I know the contractor. And I couldn't believe it with my own eyes that they would sit there as a city council, as a zoning board, as a building department, and never take responsibility for anything. Blame everyone else. Literally. Knowing that it took a year, 12 months to get a permit, and the homeowner, who is a great person, is now have to pay a little bit more money because pricing went up over the year. And we didn't ask for a bigger project. We didn't ask for anything. We fell within all the requirements, except the city hired some incompetent, and I'm going to tell you right now, 0-star, dumber than dumb company to oversee some of their requests. The person they used never responded properly, never responded timely, only knew the answer no. never said to themselves, you know what do we got to do to make this project go forward? The amount of phone calls that I made, the amount of phone calls that the homeowner made, the amount of phone calls that the contractor made, the amount of meetings we went to, and then everyone shook their head and just nodded. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I even had someone I knew on the city council call me up on the side and say, look, this is a perfect example of how incompetent everyone here is. No one wants to do anything. Everybody is afraid to say, okay, you're right. And here we are a year later, and they don't care. And this is where we are in the world today, with just terrible people, terrible management, terrible cities. And I'm not afraid to push back. Do your job.
Sure.
What do you do when you guys have a local city that doesn't follow the rules, or you can't do much? You have to just, keep calling and following through. It's like a bad contractor. Just people don't realize it. Just bad. The whole thing is bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is certainly a big headache, right? Trying to just get your project done, especially waiting a year for permit. But
ridiculous. It was so ridiculous, and it's still ridiculous. We literally, and then the homeowners impatient, right? They're like, oh, okay, great. We finally got the permit, which was 2 days ago. It's like, are we knocking the garages down next week? And I said, look, we're going to have a meeting on site. It's called a reset meeting. We're going to hit the reset button. We're going to roll our sleeves up, and we're going to review the whole contract. We're going to review the plans. We're going to review a new calendar. We're going to review all new pricing. Schedule 2 to 4 hours for this meeting. We'll be on site. And by the way, I'll be calling Miss Dig today to get the permit or get the ticket in, so that next week they'll be putting flags and spray painting where all the utilities are. We're then the next step is we're going to turn off utilities. We're going to, do the areas where we're going to stage the job. We're going to order lumber. We're going to do everything. But we're not demoing your garages next week.
Sure.
It could be 2-3 weeks, because what we want to do is we want the lumber. We want to stage it. We need to talk to your neighbor. We want to make sure that they understand what we're going to be doing. We have to look where concrete's coming in, where the demo is, where the dumpster's going to go. It's called job staging.
Yeah.
General conditions. There are things that are getting done that don't show people swinging hammers.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, absolutely. Right. I mean, there is that planning and staging for any project, right?
You got it.
There's that. And obviously the MISDIG process is part of that. And, I'm sure there are customers, all over the state of various projects that do get frustrated. Well, we have our permit. Let's start tomorrow morning. Right. Well,
exactly.
Then the MISDIG part comes in, right? We're going to have our ticket, and most people know, but for those listening who don't, once you contact us, the utilities have 3 business days, to get out there, right? So it's pretty hard to predict when your permit will be, approved.
Right.
To call, to call us or place that ticket prior to the permit being actually approved probably doesn't benefit anyone. So you have to get your permit first, and then once you're ready to go, you can start with the MISDIG process.
And by the way, that's how it should be. So if I call MISDIG on a Friday, I know that the stakes and the spray painting will be done by end of business Wednesday, the following Wednesday, give or take. If it's raining, snowing, ice, you're always going to have it, but by Wednesday. And so it's allowing you to, all right, I'm going to drop lumber after this. I'm going to, and by the way, it may make sense for you as a homeowner or the contractor. Once they spray paint everything, take pictures. Yeah. Take a picture of the area, because that way you'll know where everything was in case someone, as a kid, I used to pull the flags out every time I saw them.
Happens all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Replace them 6 feet away. Whoops. Whoops and daisy, But we have this product called Live Switch.
Yeah.
Live Switch is a new app that you send the homeowner a text, and the text has a hyperlink in it that takes over your phone, takes over the camera on your smartphone, and you click it as the homeowner, the text link. It allows me from my device to look and do a FaceTime call. However, it's recording everything into the cloud, documenting everything. And I can say to you, all right, Mrs. Jones, let's walk to the backyard with your camera, and I'll be in my office, and you show me all the flags. And then I can point on my camera to the video screen and say, hey, I'm going to circle this area right here. You're going to look at your camera phone, and on your phone, and I could be 100 miles away, you're going to see a red circle that I just drew from my line. And I'm going to say, that's where your fire pit's going to be.
Ooh.
So you can walk through it and it's all recorded and there's a documentation of it. And it's a new tool for contractors.
That sounds great.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
And now remember, contractors' number one tool today is still their yellow pad and paper.
Yep.
Right? The number one tool a contractor has in their toolbox is a yellow pad and paper. We're going to take a quick break, Eric. We've got Eric Urbane from Miss Dig 811 in studio. We're talking about technology for contractors, how 2026 is going to be better. 300,000 requests in 2 months period. I don't even know how you guys get that done. There's got to be some kind of AI voodoo going on there, but we're going to talk more about that when we come back. Eric Urbane from Miss Dig 811. My name's Adam Helfman. This is Hire It Done on 101 WRIF, everything that rocks. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. In studio, we've got Eric Urbane from Miss Dig 811. Welcome back, Eric.
Thanks again for having me, Adam.
So real quick, Miss Dig, it amazes me how many calls you guys take in a year. Over 1 million calls, 300,000 calls in the last 60 days.
Yep.
Boggles my mind.
Boggles my mind too.
Think about, okay, so there's a lot of calls, but then the people have to go out and actually spray paint, sticker, put all the flags in.
Yeah.
And that's now it's already done.
Yep.
Those 300,000 calls are already done.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. So 2026 is right around the corner. What are we thinking as far as business wise? And are you going to, let's just assume we have a record, but technology seems to be what's going to rescue you guys and keep you in the forefront. And I don't want to, maybe rescue is a strong word.
Sure.
Maybe it'll complement, help you administrate and facilitate a more, efficient way of marking everything, because originally it was virtual reality, augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
How do we document? How do we do this? Now we've got AI who automatically is thinking of ways to take existing data, filter the data, pull the data, organize the data, help the data make better decisions.
Yep.
All that. It's got to be on your plate every day.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting to a point where, again, we're going to have well over 1.3, 1.4 million tickets this year. We expect 2026 to be even busier with some of the grants and funding. So how do we really handle that load, right? And, it's important for folks that don't know is, while we are your point of contact.
Sure.
Miss Dig are not the folks that actually go out there and spray paint the yard and do the locating, right? Each utility owner, is responsible for that. And there's a lot of strain on those folks, right? So we talked about AI on the front end for us to try to make our tickets, a little more higher quality, right? But beyond that, we really kind of rely on the processes and technologies and resources that on the receiving side of our tickets for the utilities. And I know there have been a lot of advancements. And again, like you mentioned, augmented reality, virtual reality, AI. So as that starts to catch up, I think we will create greater efficiencies in the locating space that will increase the accuracy of the locate, the timeliness of the locate, and it will only help moving forward.
And build the database.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That's just amazing stuff. I really, really think that's crazy good. Well, if you're a contractor out there and you're not calling Miss Dig, don't call Hire It Done either, because we don't want you. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, if you're a contractor, you're professional, you're looking to grow in 2026, and you want to meet with us at Hire It Done, we want to meet with you. We're looking for new contractors. We're looking for contractors that homeowners brag about. We want to keep it simple. So if you're a contractor, visit hireitdone.com, click on contact Adam, or text us 927-1985, area code 248-927-1985. That's the phone number, the text line actually for Hire It Done. We're always looking to add contractors. You'll be getting a questionnaire from me. One of them is, do you know what Miss Dig is? What's that? Is it a lady? She's single?
I guess if the answer is what's that, then I guess that's a failed test.
Exactly. We're not going to be helping those people out. But again, Hire It Done's all about professionalism. We're here to help you, the homeowner. We want you to know that this is the rock and roll of home improvement. That's what we do here. And so we want to give you the best of the best. Like water. Beauchamp Water Treatment Solution. He's a sponsor of the show. You've heard me talk about it before. You want to upgrade your water? You want pure water? You want clean water? I'm telling you right now, you're not alone. Clean, great tasting water is a priority for Michigan homeowners, but many people worry about improving their water systems that they think it's expensive and disruptive. It's not, okay? The reality is that you can enhance the performance and quality of your home water, and you can love your water. You'll learn to love your water without a big investment. Beauchamp Water can give you reverse osmosis, water treatment, filtration, all the way up to high-end electronic filtration, even if you have city water. You want clean city water? They'll take your city water and make it crystal clean. You want your well water to taste funny, not to be rusty. You don't want it to taste weird. You want it to clean your skin. They have everything for clean water. Trust me when I tell you, and it's Saturday, folks. You always heard me talking about it. Salt sale Saturdays today. Get your water softener salt. $6.99 a bag. Jared Beauchamp is the owner of Beauchamp Water Treatment Solution. He is the king of water. I want y'all to know that. There is nobody that is not as knowledgeable as him. So give him a call, 810-632-2000. Go to hireitdone.com. Click on Beauchamp. They're there. They'll come out. Tell them you heard them on Hire It Done. I promise you, not only will you thank me, because that's the goal. When you become part of Hire It Done, whatever you do, the contractor's only job is to make the homeowners brag about them. See that, Eric? Well, so that way, you know, if you have a homeowner bragging about your company, you're doing your job.
Absolutely.
So I want to simplify it. No pressure. Look, every contractor makes mistakes. Every homeowner has expectations that sometimes are legitimate, sometimes are ridiculous. You know, Google ruined the home improvement business. HGTV ruined the home improvement business. You can't remodel a bathroom in 18 minutes. And by the way, think about it, Eric. Let's say they're doing an exterior job. How many home improvement shows have you ever watched where they do outside work? Have you ever seen the show say, oh, we better call Miss Dig? Have you ever?
It's so funny you mentioned that. That's a conversation I've had at the couch with my wife, pointing at the TV, like on home improvement shows.
Look at these digging.
There are no flags anywhere to be found in this yard, and we're really building a new foundation. What is going on?
It's so funny. I worked on a TV show called Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yeah.
I was a builder on the episode here in Oak Park in 2004. That's 21 years ago, in case anyone wants to do the math. Blind, autistic child with deaf parents. It was Oak Park, the Varden episode. I was the builder. I became good friends with the executive producer. That show became an Emmy-winning show. So I'm actually an Emmy-winning builder. Scouts Honor, like legit, you can't dispute that. You can look it up.
Good on you.
I became good friends with the executive producer, and he hired me to travel around the country with them and teach builders how to build a house in 5 days, 9 hours. Move that bus, remember?
Yeah.
And there are cities that the guy like, you know, we don't have time to call Miss Dig. Like, I remember asking about it. So the way the show was designed, it's reality TV, but a lot of it was pre-planned. Still 24 hours a day for 5 straight days.
Sure. Building
a house. We did Hildy's Marked always.
Yeah.
At least on my watch.
Sure.
But they don't talk about it on TV. They don't talk about the risks. So reality TV, in my opinion, is what ruined it for contractors and making expectations. If a homeowner Googles, how long should a bathroom remodel take? And they see 72 hours, they see the answer comes in a blink of the eye, right?
Yep.
You Google and then you hit the question and then it answers the whole thousands of pages. The reality is a bathroom, a kitchen, a room addition, a garage, anything, it takes time.
Yes.
Your contractor picking the right one is going to be honest. He's going to tell you, not to scare you, but he's going to place it in a way or phrase it in a way that you're going to be like, oh, I get it. And the key, Eric, and you'll agree with me, I hope, the key to all successful home improvement, whether it's calling Miss Dig, whether it's hiring a homeowner, firing a homeowner, hiring a contractor, firing a contractor, whatever it takes, the key to all that is communication.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more.
How likely is it that AI is going to definitely impact Miss Dig next year?
I would say it is a pretty good chance.
Almost a certainty.
Almost a certainty in some way, shape, or form. We will incorporate. If
there's 100 moves from the phone call to the actual flag to whatever, let's say just use 100 steps. In that 100 steps, AI will be touching some part of those.
Without a doubt.
Eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to come up with a system that will keep it updated, keep it efficient. But here's the other thing we've been kind of dancing around. We might as well say it. Job security. AI is not going to replace these jobs. You still need someone to actually put a flag in.
Yes.
You still need, I mean, I can't see a drone. I actually can see a drone flying down low, getting like 3 feet above, and then pulling out a little laser with a a flashlight or like a spray paint gun or a paint gun, and it shoots a line, and the green line is the water, or the blue is water, yellow's gas or whatever. Why not? I
mean, there's going to be a future where I think certainly using drones and LiDAR type of technology, and between augmented reality, virtual reality, AI in the cabs of
how about
excavating
just
equipment.
Texting a picture to the contractor while he's there with an actual picture of the site, but then it's got the augmented reality lines. And it says right there where you're looking, and it shows a green line, even though you're looking outside of it, there's no green line, but the picture shows a green line, and you dig right there. That's where the gas line is. As
an industry, and the utility industry as a whole, that's where the next evolution can be, because what you just described, that technology exists. That's easy. But what we need is the data to feed that technology. From the gas companies and the power companies and the telecom companies, to provide all that information. They're ASBIS.
Right. So that's where AI can say, all right, here's what we need. AI can look at what they need and say, okay, this company should give us these items. This company will give us those items. And then deploy the request to real humans to be in charge of, okay, 2026, you have the whole year, Mr. So-and-so from Miss Dig. We want you to get this information, and every month get this much of it.
Yes.
And break it down into edible type of information, so that by the end of the year you've collected all this data, and then you are allowed to pull the trigger for 2027.
Right.
That now says we've got this together, and kaboom, here we are.
That's a project we're underway with right now. We are helping some of our smaller members, let's just say small communities, providing them the resources to actually map out in a digital GPS format where their entire network is. So, then in the future, we can just kind of incorporate that.
Got no problem with me on that one. So, and that's where we're thinking. So I like that. So again, for anyone out there, contractors, homeowners, if you're hiring a contractor, make sure he calls Miss Dig if you're doing any exterior digging, brick pavers, concrete, yard work, decks, if you're digging footings, kitchens, baths, any kind of extension. You've got to understand, friends, anything digging more than 10 inches, 12 inches?
Anything that is disturbing the earth, period.
Anything disturbing the earth, period. So can I get petty for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about anything that I got my excavator and I'm driving it through the backyard. It's heavy and it's sinking down 6-8 inches. You should be calling Miss Dig, right?
You should. That will absolutely damage the infrastructure.
It would. That's what I thought. So if you're doing any kind of work outside, folks, what's the worst that happens? You call Miss Dig. Give them your address. They give you a ticket number. 3 days later, boom, there's flags everywhere.
Doesn't cost a thing.
Right. And it's free. That was Glenn Hagee's favorite price.
Mine too.
I like free. So with that being said, Eric, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. It's always great being here.
Great. I respect the partnership. I think that your company's great. It's a necessary, not even a necessary evil. It's a necessary step in all things home improvement.
We really appreciate your support.
I think it's a good partnership. Anyways, that's just my opinion. I'm biased. Thank you for coming on. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfand on 101 WRIF, Everything That Rocks. Don't forget, every Saturday we're here, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you're a contractor, get a hold of us, hireitdone.com.